I never thought my own brother would be the one to destroy everything we built together. But there he was, standing in our family business's conference room, his hand firmly gripping his wife Catherine's as they delivered the news that would shatter my world. My name is Lexis, and until last Tuesday, I was the creative director of Sullivan Home Furnishings, a business my brother Ethan and I had built from the ground up with our inheritance money. At least, that's what I thought we were building together. The board has decided to go in a different direction, Ethan said, his voice cold and detached. The board he referred to consisted of himself, Catherine, and two of her college friends who'd bought shares last year. Your creative vision doesn't align with our future goals. I gripped the edge of the conference table, my knuckles turning white. Different direction? I brought in 60% of our new clients last quarter. Catherine's perfectly painted lips curved into a condescending smile. Sweetie, your eco-friendly furniture line idea is cute, but it's not profitable. We need to focus on mass production, not saving trees. Those designs are innovative, I shot back. They're what customers want. I've done the research, The decision is final, Ethan cut me off. We're buying out your shares. The paperwork is ready. My eyes burned with unshed tears as I looked at my brother. Mom and Dad would be ashamed of you. Something flickered in his eyes. Guilt, maybe? But Catherine squeezed his hand, and his expression hardened again. Don't bring them into this. This is business. Business? I laughed bitterly. Remember when we were kids, and you promised to always have my back? Was that business too? People grow up, Lexis, Catherine interjected. Maybe it's time you did too. I stood up so quickly my chair toppled backward. You've been poisoning him against me since day one, haven't you? That's enough. Ethan slammed his hand on the table. Take the buyout. It's generous. Start fresh somewhere else. The next few hours passed in a blur of paperwork and legal jargon. My hand shook as I signed away my stake in the company. My company. Our company. Later that night, I sat in my best friend Bridget's apartment, nursing a glass of wine while she paced furiously. They can't do this to you, she exclaimed. There must be something. They did it legally, I interrupted. Catherine made sure of that. Bridget stopped pacing and sat beside me. So what now? I took another sip of wine, remembering Catherine's dismissive words about my eco-friendly furniture line. Now, I'm going to prove them wrong. What do you mean? I pulled out my phone and showed Bridget the designs I'd been working on for months. These sustainable furniture pieces, they're just the beginning. I'm going to build something bigger, better, something that matters. You're serious about this? Dead serious. I stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the city lights. They think they've beaten me? They have no idea what I'm capable of. Bridget was quiet for a moment before asking, What do you need? I turned to face her, feeling a surge of determination replace my earlier despair. A business partner who believes in making beautiful things without destroying the planet. Know anyone? A slow smile spread across her face. As a matter of fact, I do. That night, as I lay in Bridget's guest bedroom, I couldn't sleep. My phone kept lighting up with messages from former colleagues expressing their shock and sympathy. I ignored them all except one, from my niece Marley, Ethan's 8-year-old daughter. I miss you already, Aunt Lexis, I typed back. Miss you too, sweetie. Then I blocked Ethan's and Catherine's numbers. They thought they were so clever, pushing me out, treating my ideas like some naive fantasy. But they'd just made the biggest mistake of their lives. Because now I had nothing left to lose and everything to prove. I opened my laptop and started working on a business plan. The sun was rising by the time I finished the first draft, but I didn't feel tired. I felt alive, energized, ready. They wanted to talk about business? Fine. I'd show them exactly what business looked like when you combined passion with purpose. And when I succeeded, not if, when, I'd make sure they had front row seats to watch everything they dismissed turn into gold. Game on, dear brother. Game on. 3 months after the betrayal, I was hunched over my laptop in the tiny office space Bridget and I had rented, surrounded by material samples and prototype sketches. The clock read 2 a.m., but I barely noticed anymore. Late nights had become my new normal. You're still here? Bridget's voice startled me. She stood in the doorway holding 2 cups of coffee. Just finishing these supplier quotes, I said, accepting the coffee gratefully. Did you know bamboo can be processed into the softest fabric? Lex, you need to sleep sometimes. She pulled up a chair beside me. The sustainable furniture industry isn't going to disappear overnight. I gestured at my screen. Look at these numbers. Traditional furniture manufacturing creates tons of waste. If we can perfect our zero-waste process... We will, Bridget interrupted, but not if you burn yourself out first. My phone buzzed. Another Instagram notification. I'd been documenting our journey of creating eco-friendly furniture, and surprisingly, people were interested. Our follower count had grown from 0 to 15,000 in just 2 months. Speaking of which, Bridget said, suddenly animated, remember that investor I mentioned last week, Dexter? I nodded, barely looking up from my spreadsheet. He's coming tomorrow. That got my attention. What? Tomorrow? Why didn't you tell me sooner? Because you would have spent 3 days obsessing over the presentation instead of sleeping. She grinned. Which you're about to do anyway, aren't you? We need this, Bridge. I closed my laptop and turned to face her fully. The prototypes are ready, but we need capital to start production. Real production, not just custom pieces. I know. She squeezed my hand. And we're ready. Our business plan is solid, our designs are innovative, and our mission is clear. Dexter's going to love it. A memory flashed through my mind. Catherine's mocking voice. Eco-friendly furniture? Cute. I pushed it away. What time tomorrow? 2 p.m., and yes, you have time to go home and change first. I looked down at my wrinkled shirt and laughed. Point taken. The next morning, I was arranging our prototype displays when my niece Marley's face popped up on my phone. I hesitated before answering. Aunt Lexis, her excited voice filled the room. Guess what? I got the lead in the school play. That's amazing, sweetie. I tried to sound enthusiastic while my heart ached. These calls were becoming harder. Mom says we can't invite you to watch it, she said quietly, but I wanted you to know anyway. I swallowed hard. I'm proud of you, Marley. Break a leg, okay? After hanging up, I stood there for a moment, fighting back tears. Bridget appeared with our presentation materials. Marley? She asked softly. I nodded. Let's make this meeting count, she said, squeezing my shoulder. Show them what they're missing. At exactly 2 p.m., Dexter Fleming walked into our office. He was younger than I expected, maybe early 40s, wearing a casual blazer and carrying a reusable water bottle. Good sign. So, he said after introductions, show me why I should invest in sustainable furniture when the market is dominated by cheap, mass-produced alternatives. I picked up one of our prototype chairs. This chair is made from reclaimed wood and recycled metal. The cushioning? Bamboo-based fabric filled with recycled fiber. 0 new trees cut, 0 waste produced. Admirable, he said, running his hand along the smooth surface. But can you scale it? We've already identified suppliers and manufacturers who share our vision. I pulled up our production plans. What we need is capital to meet minimum order requirements. For the next hour, we walked him through everything. Our zero-waste manufacturing process, our direct-to-consumer model, our growing social media following. Your passion is evident, Dexter said finally. But what makes you sure you can succeed where others have failed? I met his eyes. Because this isn't just business for us. Every piece we create means 1 less tree cut down, 1 less ton of waste in landfills. And consumers are ready for change. Our waitlist for custom pieces proves it. He nodded slowly, then reached for his briefcase. I have some concerns about your distribution model, but... He pulled out a folder. Let's talk numbers. After he left, Bridget and I stared at each other in shock. Did that just happen? She whispered. I looked at the preliminary investment agreement in my hands. It did. We're actually doing this. We're doing this, she confirmed, grinning. Ready to show the world what sustainable luxury really looks like? I thought about Marley's play, about Ethan and Catherine, about all the nights I'd spent doubting myself. More than ready. It's time to make some waves. Little did I know just how big those waves would become. 6 months after Dexter's investment, I stood backstage at the Sustainable Living Expo, my heart racing. Our booth had drawn consistent crowds all day, but this was different. Stella Black, eco-conscious celebrity and social media powerhouse, was about to tour the expo. "Stop fidgeting," Bridget whispered, adjusting our display. "You look like you're about to jump out of your skin." Can you blame me? Stella has 20 million followers. One post from her, and we'd be swamped with orders, Bridget finished. I know, but remember what Dexter said. Act like we belong here, I recited. Because we do. The buzz of conversation grew louder, and suddenly there she was, Stella Black, surrounded by her team, stopping at our booth. My mouth went dry. "This is gorgeous," she said, running her hand along our best-selling bamboo lounge chair. "The craftsmanship is incredible." I stepped forward. "Everything we create is sustainable and zero waste. Even the packaging is biodegradable." She turned to me, genuinely interested. "Really? Tell me more." For the next 15 minutes, I walked her through our process, our mission, our vision. She asked intelligent questions about sourcing and manufacturing, clearly more than just a celebrity endorser. "I'm renovating my Malibu home," she said finally. "Would you be interested in furnishing it? Completely eco-friendly, of course." I managed to keep my voice steady. "We'd be honored." "Perfect." She turned to her assistant. "Set up a meeting for next week." Then back to me. "I love supporting women-owned businesses that actually care about the planet." After she left, Bridget grabbed my arm. "Did that just happen?" "I think it did." I checked my phone. Stella had already posted about us. Our follower count was skyrocketing. That evening, during our celebration dinner with Dexter, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing with notifications. "This is just the beginning," Dexter said, raising his glass. "Stella's home will be featured in Architectural Digest. That's massive exposure." "We'll need to scale up production," I said, already making mental notes. "The current facility won't be enough." "Already handled," Dexter replied. "I've secured a larger manufacturing space. Triple the size, still maintaining our eco-friendly standards." Bridget squeezed my hand under the table. We'd done it. Really done it. The next morning, I was in our office early, responding to the flood of inquiries, when I overheard 2 employees discussing local business news. "Did you hear about Sullivan Home Furnishings?" one asked. "Apparently they're struggling. Lost 3 major contracts last month." I froze, my coffee cup halfway to my lips. "Yeah, heard they're having quality issues, something about cheap materials and bad customer service." I shouldn't have cared. I shouldn't have felt anything. But I did. Later that day, I was reviewing designs for Stella's house when Bridget burst into my office. "Have you seen this?" She thrust her tablet at me. On screen was a business magazine article, "Traditional Furniture Giants Face Modern Challenge, the Rise of Eco-Friendly Alternatives." And there was our company, featured prominently as the leading innovator in sustainable furniture. "Read the comments," Bridget urged. I scrolled down. "Is this the same Lexus who left Sullivan Home Furnishings?" one read. "Talk about karma." My phone rang. Dexter. "I assume you've seen the article," he said when I answered. "There's more. Home and Style magazine wants to feature your story, the female entrepreneur who turned betrayal into $1 million sustainable business." I sat back in my chair. "Should I do it?" "Absolutely. Your story will inspire others. Plus, it's fantastic PR." After hanging up, I opened my personal email, the one I never checked anymore. There were dozens of messages from former colleagues, all sharing the same theme. They should have listened to me. One email caught my eye, from Catherine. Subject: "We should talk." I deleted it without opening it. "You okay?" Bridget asked softly. I looked around our office, at the mood boards for Stella's house, the prototype sketches for our new collection, the team busy at their desks. "Better than okay," I replied. "I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." My phone buzzed again, Stella's assistant confirming our meeting. As I typed a response, I caught my reflection in the window. I looked different, stronger, more confident. The woman who'd been forced out of her family business was gone. In her place was someone who'd built something meaningful, something that mattered. And this was just the beginning. The Architectural Digest spread featuring Stella's Malibu home hit newsstands on a Wednesday. By Thursday morning, our website had crashed 3 times from traffic overload. "We need better servers," Bridget announced, bursting into my office, "and more customer service staff, and possibly a clone of you." I laughed, but it was strained. I'd been up since 4 a.m. dealing with the overflow of orders. "How's the waiting list looking?" 3 months for custom pieces, but that's not why I'm here. She closed the door. "You need to see this." She pulled up a local business news website. The headline made my stomach drop. Sullivan Home Furnishings faces bankruptcy rumors amid mass layoffs. "There's more," Bridget said quietly. "I was at that networking event downtown last night. People are talking. Ethan's been drinking, showing up late to meetings. Catherine's trying to hold things together, but—" "Not our problem," I said firmly, turning back to my computer. "Lex?" I said it's not our problem. My voice came out sharper than intended. The intercom buzzed. "Ms. Lexis? Dexter's here for the quarterly review." I straightened my desk, grateful for the interruption. "Send him in." Dexter entered, looking pleased. "Have you seen the numbers? Your revenue has tripled since the Stella Black project." "We need to talk about expansion," I said, pulling up our projections. "We can't keep up with demand." "Already ahead of you." He spread out some papers. "I've found a perfect location for a flagship store. Prime retail space, excellent foot traffic." My phone rang. Unknown number. I declined it. As I was saying, my phone rang again. Same number. "Take it," Bridget said. "Could be important," I answered. "Hello?" "Aunt Lexis?" Marley's voice was small, worried. "Dad's crying in his office. Mom said not to bother him, but I'm scared." My throat tightened. "Where's your mom?" "On the phone with lawyers. She doesn't know I'm calling." "Everything's going to be okay, sweetie. Your dad's just dealing with some grown-up stuff." "Are you still mad at them? Is that why you never visit?" Dexter and Bridget were pretending not to listen, studying their papers intently. "It's complicated, Marley, but I'm never mad at you, okay? Or Willie. Dad misses you. He said so last night when he thought I was sleeping." After saying goodbye, I sat in silence for a moment. "Take the rest of the day," Dexter said gently. "We can finish this tomorrow." I shook my head. "I'm fine. The flagship store location?" My phone buzzed with a text. "Ethan. I know Marley called you. Please, we need to talk." "Go," Bridget said firmly. "You won't be able to focus anyway." I ended up at the park where Ethan and I used to play as kids. Sitting on a bench, I watched families enjoying the late afternoon sun. A father was teaching his daughter to ride a bike, just like our dad had done for us. My phone buzzed again. "Catherine this time. I know we don't deserve it, but please hear us out. For the kids." I thought about Marley's voice, small and frightened. About Willie, who probably didn't even remember when I used to babysit him every weekend. A new message from Ethan. "I'm sorry. I know those words mean nothing now, but I am. Please call me." I closed my eyes, remembering the day they forced me out. The humiliation, the betrayal, the weeks of crying myself to sleep. Opening my eyes, I typed, "Tomorrow, 10 a.m., the coffee shop on 7th. Ethan replied instantly, "Thank you." That night, I couldn't sleep. I pulled up the article about Sullivan Home Furnishings again. The comments were brutal. "That's what happens when you prioritize profit over quality. Karma's a witch." "Heard they pushed out the creative director who actually had vision." My phone lit up with a text from Bridget. "Whatever you decide tomorrow, I've got your back." I walked to my home office, where I kept a photo I couldn't bring myself to throw away. It was from the day we opened Sullivan Home Furnishings. Ethan and me, arms around each other, grinning at the camera. We'd been so happy, so full of dreams. Now I had everything I'd ever wanted. Success, recognition, vindication. So why did it feel like something was still missing? I picked up my phone and typed another message to Ethan. "Bring coffee. You still remember how I take it?" His response came seconds later. Oat milk latte, extra shot, no sugar. Some things you never forget. I put the phone down and stared out the window at the city lights. Tomorrow would either bring closure or open old wounds. I wasn't sure which scared me more. I arrived at the coffee shop 20 minutes early, but Ethan was already there. He looked terrible. His usually immaculate suit was wrinkled, dark circles under his eyes. Catherine sat beside him, her perfect posture unchanged, but her designer outfit noticeably last season's. "You came," Ethan said, pushing my coffee across the table. "We weren't sure." "I came for Marley," I said, sitting down. She sounded scared. Catherine flinched. "The children don't know how bad things are. We've tried to shield them." "How bad are things?" Ethan ran a hand through his graying hair. "We're 3 months behind on payroll. The bank's threatening to call our loans. Our biggest supplier just canceled our contract." "What happened?" I asked, even though I already knew. "We cut corners," he admitted. "Cheaper materials, overseas manufacturing. The quality dropped, but we thought we could maintain the profit margins." "The same profit margins you said my eco-friendly line would destroy?" I couldn't keep the bitterness from my voice. "Lexus," Catherine leaned forward, her voice softer than I'd ever heard it. "We were wrong, terribly wrong, about everything." "We watched you succeed," Ethan added. "Saw how you built something meaningful while we destroyed what Dad built." I took a sip of my coffee, perfectly made, just as I liked it. "What do you want from me?" "Partnership," Catherine said quickly. "A merger. Your brand is thriving, and you understand this market better than anyone." I laughed, harsh and sharp. "You want me to save you, after what you did?" "We want to make it right," Ethan's voice cracked. "I know we don't deserve it, but Lexus, please. There are 50 families depending on these jobs. And Marley and Willie—" "Don't," I cut him off. "Don't use your children to manipulate me." "It's not manipulation," Catherine's eyes filled with tears. "We're desperate. Yesterday, Marley asked if she could sell her toys to help pay the bills. She overheard us talking and—" I stood up abruptly. "I need some air." Outside, I paced the sidewalk, my hands shaking. Through the window, I could see Ethan comforting a crying Catherine, something I'd never seen before. My phone buzzed. "Bridget, how's it going?" I typed back. "They want a merger." Her response was immediate. "Want me to come down there?" Before I could reply, the coffee shop door opened. Ethan stepped out. "Remember when Dad was sick?" he asked quietly. "You stayed at the hospital every night for 2 weeks while I handled the business." "Don't. You've always been the better person, Lex. The one who cared more about people than profits. I lost sight of that. Lost sight of everything that mattered. You chose Catherine over me. I chose wrong." His voice broke. "I chose wrong about everything, and now I'm about to lose it all, including my children's respect." I turned to face him. "Do you know what it felt like? Sitting in that conference room, watching my own brother betray me?" "No," he whispered. "But I know what it feels like to wake up every day knowing I destroyed the most important relationship in my life. Knowing my little sister will never trust me again." Through the window, I saw Catherine on her phone, probably talking to lawyers. She looked defeated, nothing like the confident woman who'd helped push me out. "If," I said slowly, "and I mean if I considered helping, it would be on my terms, completely." Hope flickered in his eyes. "Anything." "I need time to think, to talk to my team." "Of course." He reached for me, then stopped himself. "Thank you for just listening." Back inside, I gathered my things. "I'll have my lawyers contact you next week." Catherine stood. "Lexus, for what it's worth, I'm sorry. I was jealous of your relationship with Ethan, of your creativity, of everything. I let that jealousy poison everything." I nodded stiffly and left, my mind racing. At the office, Bridget was waiting. "Well?" "They're worse off than we thought." I sank into my chair. Catherine actually apologized. Like, genuinely apologized. And? And I don't know what to do. I showed her the latest text from Marley. "Thank you for meeting Mom and Dad. I love you, Aunt Lexis. Bridget studied me. You're considering it, aren't you? Maybe. I pulled up our company financials. But if we do this, it's going to be on our terms. Complete rebranding, new management structure, eco-friendly overhaul of their entire operation. You're too good, you know that? I thought about Marley and Willie, about the 50 families facing unemployment, about my brother's broken expression. No, I said quietly. I just remember what Dad always said. Success means nothing if you lose your humanity along the way. Now I just had to figure out how to help my family without losing everything I'd built. Absolutely not, Dexter said, pacing my office. This is business suicide. They'll drag you down with them. I spread out the merger proposal I'd spent 3 days crafting. Look at the numbers. Their manufacturing facility is twice the size of ours. With proper management... Proper management? He stopped pacing. These people betrayed you, Lexis. Have you forgotten that? Trust me, I haven't. I pulled up a spreadsheet. But their facility is perfect for our expansion plans. We'd control everything. Production, management, branding. They'd essentially work for us. Bridget, who'd been quietly observing, spoke up. It's actually brilliant. We get their resources without the baggage of their brand name. And Ethan and Catherine? Dexter demanded. What about them? Ethan knows manufacturing. He can handle operations under our supervision. Catherine... I paused. She'll need to step down. My phone buzzed. Catherine herself. The bank's giving us until Friday. You're too close to this, Dexter insisted, emotionally compromised. Maybe, I admitted, but I'm also right. This is a smart business move, emotions aside. The door opened and Stella Black swept in, early for our scheduled meeting. Sorry to interrupt, but I couldn't help overhearing. You're considering a merger with Sullivan Home Furnishings? I nodded, surprised. You know about them? I know everything about my investments. She sat down gracefully. And I think you should do it. Dexter started to protest, but she held up a hand. Think about the story. Eco-conscious female entrepreneur saves failing traditional business, transforms it into sustainable powerhouse. The press will eat it up. This isn't about press, I said. No, she agreed. It's about family. But why can't it be both? Redemption stories sell, darling. And this one's perfect. After they left, I called Ethan. Conference room tomorrow, 9 a.m. Bring Catherine and your lawyers. The next morning, I arrived early to find them already waiting. Catherine's eyes were red-rimmed, Ethan's hands shaking as he clutched his coffee cup. I placed the proposal on the table. This is my offer. Non-negotiable. Their lawyer read it first, eyebrows rising. This is essentially a hostile takeover. No, I corrected. It's a rescue package, with conditions. Catherine reached for the document. Her face paled as she read. You want me to resign? You'll retain your shares, but yes, no management role. And me? Ethan asked quietly. Head of operations, reporting directly to our board. Your manufacturing experience is valuable, but you'll have no executive power. The lawyer leaned forward. This is highly unusual. Take it or declare bankruptcy, I cut in. Your choice. Catherine stood abruptly, tears streaming down her face. I'll be outside. After she left, Ethan studied the proposal. You're rebranding everything? Completely? Sullivan Home Furnishings dies today. Everything will be absorbed into my brand. The employees? Keep their jobs if they meet our standards. We'll provide retraining. He nodded slowly. And us? As family? I met his eyes. That depends on you. This is business, family. That's something we'll have to rebuild separately. Can we? His voice cracked. Rebuild it? Marley called me yesterday, I said. Asked if I'd come to her school play next week. She misses you so much. I miss her too. And Willie. I took a deep breath. Sign the papers, Ethan. Let me fix what you broke, both the business and our family. He picked up the pen. Catherine won't like this. Catherine's pride isn't my concern. Your children's future is. He signed, hand trembling slightly. What do we tell the employees? The truth. That change is coming, but their jobs are secure if they're willing to adapt. After everything was signed, after the lawyers left, after Catherine returned with red eyes to add her signature, Ethan lingered. Thank you, he whispered. Not just for the business, but for giving me a chance to earn back your trust. Don't waste it, I warned. I won't offer another one. That evening, I sat in my office, looking at the signed merger documents. My phone lit up with a text from Marley. Mom's crying, but Dad says everything will be better now. Will you really come to my play? I typed back, front row, sweetie, I promise. Bridget appeared with 2 glasses of champagne. To the new chapter? I took a glass, thinking about the challenges ahead. Retraining staff, rebranding, rebuilding family bonds. To second chances, I corrected. And doing things right this time. Through my office window, I could see the city skyline, the same view I'd had when I started over a year ago. But this time, I wasn't alone in my fight. This time, I was leading the way. The first day of the merger felt like walking into a war zone. I stood before the combined staff in the main manufacturing facility, feeling every eye on me. Change is scary, I began, but necessary. Every person in this room has a place in our future if you're willing to embrace it. A worker raised his hand. We heard rumors about switching to all eco-friendly materials. That'll take months of retraining. Which will provide, I assured him, full pay during the transition. Another voice angry. And Catherine, just pushed out after 15 years? That was my choice, Catherine said, stepping forward. Her voice shook slightly. This company needs new direction. Sometimes leaders have to step aside. I caught her eye, surprised by her support. She gave me a small nod. The questions continued for an hour. I answered each one honestly, even the hostile ones. By the end, the tension had eased slightly. Ethan led the facility tour afterward, explaining current processes. He seemed different, more focused, less arrogant. These machines, he said, patting a huge saw, they're only 3 years old, can be retrofitted for sustainable materials. Good, I nodded. Start with Aunt Lexis. A small figure burst through the door and wrapped around my legs. Willie, followed by an embarrassed-looking Catherine. Sorry, she said. Daycare called. He's got a fever. I had no one else to... My office, I said immediately. There's a couch. He can rest while you finish your handover documents. Willie looked up at me with bright eyes. Can you read me a story? I have meetings, buddy, but... I turned to my assistant. Reschedule everything after 2. Family comes first. Catherine's eyes welled up. Later that afternoon, I sat in my new office, Willie asleep on the couch, when Ethan knocked. Production team's on board, he reported. They're actually excited about the new materials. Good, I gestured to the chair. Sit, we need to talk about Marley's play tomorrow. He sat heavily. Catherine's not handling things well. Might be better if you didn't. I promised Marley. I'm going. It's just, seeing you take her position. She tried to destroy me, Ethan. Actions have consequences. He nodded slowly. I know. We both deserve this. But she's still their mother. Which is why she's keeping her shares. Why she'll still have an income. I looked at Willie, peaceful in sleep. I'm not heartless. No, he agreed. You're better than we were. The next evening, I sat in the school auditorium, watching Marley shine as the lead in Alice in Wonderland. Catherine sat 3 rows ahead, alone. Ethan was beside me. During intermission, I made a decision. I walked to Catherine's row. Come sit with us, I said quietly. She looked up, startled. What? This isn't about us. It's about Marley. Come sit with her family. She followed me back, sitting stiffly beside Ethan. When Marley took her final bow, we all stood together, cheering. Afterward, Marley ran to us, still in costume. Did you see? Did you see me fall down the rabbit hole? You were amazing, sweetie, Catherine and I said simultaneously. We looked at each other, and something shifted. Not forgiveness exactly, but understanding. Back at the office the next day, Bridget found me reviewing transition plans. Stella called, she announced. The press wants to do a feature. Sisters in Sustainability, about how you're mentoring Catherine through her eco-friendly jewelry line launch. I looked up sharply. Her what? She didn't tell you? She's using her settlement to start over, making jewelry from recycled materials. I sat back, processing this. My phone buzzed. Catherine. Can we talk? About the jewelry line? I stared at the message for a long moment before replying, Lunch tomorrow? Her response was immediate. Thank you. Ethan appeared in my doorway. Production meeting in 5. Also, Marley wants to know if you'll help with her science project. It's about environmental impact. I smiled. Tell her Sunday afternoon. We'll make it a family thing. Family thing, he repeated softly. I like the sound of that. Looking around at what we'd built and rebuilt in just a few weeks, I felt something I hadn't expected. Peace. The merger wasn't just about business anymore. It was about healing, about second chances, about family. My phone buzzed again. Dexter. Stock price up 15% since merger announcement. Still think I was wrong? I typed back. For once, being right isn't what matters most. Because sometimes, I was learning, the biggest victories aren't about winning at all. They're about finding a way for everyone to move forward together, even if the path there isn't what you expected. The magazine interviewer sat across from me in our newly renovated showroom, surrounded by our latest sustainable furniture collection. So, what's next for your brand? Before I could answer, rapid footsteps approached. Aunt Lexus, look what Mom and I made! Marley burst in, holding up a delicate necklace made from recycled copper and sea glass. Catherine followed, looking apologetic. Sorry to interrupt, she said. We were in the workshop downstairs and she couldn't wait. It's perfect timing, I told the interviewer. This is what's next. Family collaborations. Catherine's eyes widened as I continued. We're launching a home accessories line featuring Catherine's sustainable jewelry and decor pieces, designed to complement our furniture. That's not what we discussed, Catherine stammered. I know. I was waiting for the right moment to suggest it. I turned to the interviewer. Would you like to see the workshop? Downstairs, Ethan was training new staff on our zero-waste manufacturing process. He'd thrown himself into the role, innovating ways to repurpose every scrap of material. Our latest dining table, he explained to the workers, uses reclaimed wood and recycled metal, but the real innovation is in the joinery technique. No chemical adhesives needed. And the sawdust? One worker asked. Goes to Catherine's workshop, he grinned. They're experimenting with wood composite jewelry. The interviewer scribbled frantically. This level of family collaboration is unusual in business, especially given your history. The past is the past, I said firmly. We're focused on building something meaningful together. Later, during our weekly family dinner at my place, Willie proudly showed everyone his science project, a model of our manufacturing facility, complete with tiny solar panels. And here's where we make everything eco-friendly, he explained seriously. Dad taught me all about it. Speaking of teaching, Bridget chimed in, wait until you hear about our latest initiative. I nodded for her to continue. She'd been bubbling with excitement all day. We're launching a mentorship program, she announced, teaching other traditional manufacturers how to transition to sustainable practices. Using our merger as a case study, I added, proving that profit and planet protection can coexist. Catherine set down her fork. That's why you wanted my jewelry line in the showroom, to show it's possible to completely reinvent yourself. Exactly. I met her eyes. Your journey from fast furniture to sustainable jewelry is powerful. It makes people believe change is possible. Family dinner's getting awfully business-focused, Ethan observed, but he was smiling. Fine, I laughed. New rule, no business talk for the rest of dinner. Marley, how's the new school play going? As Marley launched into a detailed description of her role as a tree sprite, I looked around the table. Ethan and Catherine sitting comfortably together, their earlier tension gone. Willie, animatedly explaining his project to Bridget, the family I'd almost lost, now stronger than ever. My phone buzzed. Stella. Architectural Digest wants to feature your whole family's eco-innovation story. Interested? I typed back, let me ask them. Hey, I interrupted Marley's story. How would everyone feel about doing a magazine feature? All of us together? Even me? Catherine asked quietly. Especially you. Your story matters too. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand, the first time she'd initiated contact since the merger. On one condition, Ethan said. We include the photo of us from opening day of the original store. Show how far we've come. Deal. I raised my glass. To family, the ones who challenge us, change us, and choose to grow with us. To family, they echoed. After dinner, as everyone helped clean up, a new tradition, Marley tugged my sleeve. Aunt Lexis, are you still mad at Mom and Dad sometimes? I knelt to her level. Sometimes feelings are complicated, sweetie. But you know what's not complicated? Loving you and Willie, and knowing that working together is better than fighting. She hugged me tight. I'm glad you're not gone anymore. In the kitchen, Catherine was loading the dishwasher. I heard that, she said softly. She's right. Having you back, it's better. We're better. We are, I agreed. All of us. Through the window, I could see Ethan showing Willie the stars, pointing out constellations like our dad used to do. Bridget was gathering her things, declining Catherine's offer to share her car service home. This was my reality now. Not just success, but family. Not just winning, but growing. Not just leading, but lifting others up along the way. And somehow, that felt like the biggest victory of all.